I'm taking a break from social media for the entire month of July. I'm really excited about it, and I want to share my reasons why and maybe some tips for you to decide whether you should take a break or not. I know a lot of people choose not to use social media for different reasons. And for me, I like it most of the time, but there are times I know when I need to take a break, and now is the time. And I'm going to tell you why that is. But first, I want you to listen to our sponsor, which happens to be me, and how I fund this podcast. So if you are a homesteader, a beginner, which more than likely you are if you're listening to this, or a dreamer, I want you to listen to this message. Hey there, homestead dreamer. Whether you're just starting out or have already dipped your toes into the homesteading world, I've got something special for you. It's all about setting up a solid foundation for your homestead plan and income strategy through thoughtful action and implementation. Because let's face it, starting a homestead is not too difficult, but keeping it sustainable can be a real challenge. Now, the decisions you make in those early years can truly make or break your experience. You either end up feeling confident and content, or you find yourself caught up in a never-ending struggle, like on a hamster wheel. And we definitely want to avoid that. That's exactly why I've created an amazing resource for you, the Workshop for Beginner Homesteaders and Dreamers. With this tool, you'll have a rock-solid foundation to build your homesteading dream upon. In the pre-recorded workshop, you'll dive into some valuable topics such as strategies for planning, savings, and generating an income, how to find and become a part of a supportive homesteading community, and developing the right mindset for homesteading success. And here's the cherry on top. Throughout the month of June, I'm offering my workshop for beginner homesteaders and dreamers at a special discount price. It's an hour and 40-minute video where I personally guide you through most of the Homesteading for Beginners workbook, which is included in the workshop price, by the way. To grab this offer, head over to healthyhomesteading.com/workshop and use the code podcast at checkout. With this code, you'll get over 20% off the already low regular price. But remember, this discount is only available during the month of June, so make sure you take action soon. You can find all necessary links in the show notes of this podcast episode as well. I'm eager for you to get started. Let's make your homesteading dreams come true together. This is not the first time I've decided to take a break from social media. A lot of my work and a lot of the things that I do, and a lot of ways I make an income is through social media. So taking a break for me has to be thoughtful, and it can't just be because I'm frustrated and want to stop. I actually prepare myself. I prepare my audience or, my followers. I prepare everyone just so that I feel like so that they don't come one day and look for my account and are like, whatever happened to Mona? So I'm always conscious about how I exit and tell them when I plan on returning so that they know that I didn't just fall off a cliff or something. I actually feel that way about other people who just disappear, and then I realize they've just disappeared. I'm like, did they die? What happened to them? And I get genuinely concerned. Like, these are people that I normally follow, and then I realize they're not there, and then I'm like, what happened to them? So I just don't want anybody ever to feel that way for my people who are happen to be following and listening to this podcast as well. I have plans to tell my husband to, if something ever happens to me, at least if I'm still conscious, if something ever happens to me while I'm conscious, I'm going to tell him, and you need to tell my podcast listeners that the reason I haven't been there, because I feel like, I've become part of your routine. A lot of people who are listening, I've become part of your routine, and you start, getting used to these episodes coming out, and then all of a sudden it stops. I never want you to feel like you have to go searching to find out whatever happened to me. And that's kind of the way I feel about social media as well. I don't want people to feel like they have to find out what happened to me and to make sure that I'm okay. So I prepare people. But the reason I'm taking this break is actually for a lot of good reasons. And it's not really out of frustration. It's more because I need clarity, and I need to step back for a minute and figure out what I want to do next. I also have some big life events that are happening next month. My fifth grandchild will be born next month, and hopefully, if all goes well, she will be born in our basement. That sounds terrible. It's an apartment. It's a fully furnished apartment, but my daughter and her family are living in, and they plan to have a home birth in the apartment. So there's a lot of things happening for me, and I just want to make sure that I'm present and I'm not just distracted by social media. Lately, I've been scrolling a lot for no reason at all, and that really frustrates me because I'll be sitting there, in my downtime, and then my phone will be in my hand, and then sometimes I'll even chuck it so that it's not close to me. But if I don't do that, it ends up back in my hand and I'm scrolling again. And it's always when I just those in-between pockets of time where I just don't know what I'm doing. I'll pick up my phone, and it's been something that I just really want to stop doing for a while and get some more control, I guess, over my time. That's the biggest thing. I feel like I've lost some control over my time. And if I'm going to do something in my downtime, I'd like it to be a little bit more productive. Now, if I was going and, actually having conversations with people on social media, that would feel a little bit more productive. But usually I'm just kind of tired and I'm just scrolling, and I don't really want to have conversations because I'm an introvert and sometimes I just need quiet and I don't want to really talk to people. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's because I love you that I need that quiet. That's what I remember. I always remember the Marlin in Finding Nemo, where he's telling Dory, "It's because I love you that I don't want to be with you." and I honestly think I actually told my kids that sometimes because it was the truth. It's because I love you that I don't want to be with you. I need to recharge. And that's kind of what needs to be happening right now for me. I need to recharge. And so there's a few reasons. I'm going to list them out. I kind of went over it a little bit. I'm going to list them out, why my reasons for taking this break. But first, I do want to mention that I will be still in my Facebook group, the new Facebook group that I created. I will be concentrating more on that. So my main thing here is that I'm going to be deleting my apps from my phone. So I will still be in the Homestead Income Plan group, the HIP group, and I will actually be putting more attention into that group. But everything on my apps, all my apps will be deleted. So I'll only be working through my computer in those groups, in that group. And but yeah, I just wanted to make sure that if you're joined the Homestead Income Plan group, that's still going to be active, and it's actually going to probably rev up in July. I have some speakers lined up for those trainings in the group, so hopefully that'll start in July. Just with my life circumstances with the baby coming, I'm not really sure how that's going to go, but I'm planning on getting it as close to started as possible in July. Right now I'm recording while my grandkids are downstairs and they are making some noise. So if you hear that, this is my life, okay? Usually I try to do these episodes in the morning before all the activity happens, but I wasn't able to today. So you might hear background noises. But the number one, okay, so I'm going to list them, but it's not going to be in order of importance. It's just, this is how I've listed them. Number one, the reason I'm leaving a social for a month is because I've been wasting a lot of time scrolling. And it's not even productive scrolling. It's just, I don't know what I'm doing kind of thing. And I really want to replace that scrolling time with something else. So I might still be on my phone. So there would be time when I might just still have these down times where I want to be on my phone. But I'm going to use things like, I actually had this suggestion. I put it in my Instagram stories. People give me suggestions for things I can do. And someone said, learn a language, which that is something I've been wanting to get back into. I used to be fluent in German. I lost it when I was a kid. I lost it as I became an adult. So every once in a while, I'll pick up the Duolingo app and start practicing my German again. So I plan to do that. I plan to replace some of that. I also have a app called LibriVox. It's like library, LibriVox. That's where you can listen to stories that are read by people. These are like open, what do they call it? Open source books that are available to everyone. Public domain, that's the word I was looking for. Public domain books that are available to everyone for free, and they are being read by volunteers. Some of the readers are really good. Some of them aren't so good. So it's always, you got to find the reader that you enjoy. So I plan to listen to some kind of old book. There's one I think I might be listening to that I'm excited about, but I'm not sure. I'm going to listen to the first couple of, maybe the first chapter and see if I want to keep listening to that. But this is a free app. So if you're interested in something like that, that is something you can use. I used to use the app limits for my phone, but now I'm at the point where I just ignore them. I do 3 steps to get to the thing that I want to get to, which is dumb. So I'm just like, this is not working anymore. I need to take a break. So that is like the number one that's one reason, not the number one reason I'm taking a break. Number 2 is that as a content creator, I guess that's how I defined what I do. I create a lot of content. So I'm creating this is content that I'm creating. I do, most of my content everywhere else now is because of this podcast. So that was a huge shift for me. I'm so glad I decided to start this podcast because I feel like all of the content that I create everywhere else can just be on topics that I created here. So that has been easier. That was a good shift for me. But when I'm on social media, I'm always like, I'll be scrolling and I'll see somebody else's video or thing. And I'm like, oh, I could be doing that. I should do that. I should pick up that trend. That would be fun. So I'm constantly thinking that I need to create content when I don't. So it just got me to where I was just like, I'm at the point where I need to consume less. I need to consume less, and I need to create less. So we talk about homesteading and how we want to create more than we consume. Well, I don't think that's true with social media and content. I think we need to have a certain balance that makes us feel like that works well with us. I don't think I can tell you how that should look, and you can't tell me how that should look, but I can recognize it in myself that right now my consumption and production balance is off, and I need to consume less and I need to produce less. So I feel like I just need to have just less of it all. So I'm still going to probably be creating the content for social media during this break, but I won't be posting it. So it would just be something like that. And I also kind of want to prove to myself that I don't need social media to grow my business. This podcast has done very, very well. I now have the HIP group, the Homestead Income Plan group, to connect with people that I feel like, well, even though that is social media, it's a little different because it's actually community based. It's real community. So technically that is social media, but the whole point is I feel like I have a better strategy right now where I am able to connect with people that need to hear my message or that want the information that I have. And it doesn't feel like I'm on this hamster wheel trying to create content to get people's attention. I guess that's the whole point. I'm kind of done right now with trying to create content to get people's attention. I think the right people will find me if I just keep creating this longer form content in this podcast and through the YouTube channel as well. So I'm kind of doing this to prove to myself that I don't need social media. I don't need it. It is part of my strategy and I will use it definitely in the future, but I don't need it. And number 3, which is probably the most important one, is that my fifth grandbaby will be born in July, and I really want to be able to be there for my daughter. She's gonna, be going through a lot, and I'll need to help with the other kids, and I just don't want to be feeling like my apps are pulling my attention away, and I don't want to have moments where I fill in those spaces of time with just nothing. I don't think it's important to always have something productive to do, but I do think that there's just this mindless activity that can get out of hand. So that's where I feel like I'm at, and that's why I want to take that away. I'm just going to not everybody knows I'm not going to be on there, and I have no expectations. Nobody expects me to be there because I've announced it, and I'm just going to take a break. And I'm super excited to be holding a newborn baby again. Let me tell you, I just cannot wait. Okay, the fourth reason is the mental energy. I talked about mental energy in episode 51. I talked about how you can find more time and increase your capacity for more responsibilities on the homestead. And it all had to do with mental energy and freeing up some mental energy in order for you to, find more time, because mental energy actually takes up time. It doesn't seem like it should, but it does. We spend too much time thinking about something, which takes away time from something else. So in order for me to have more time in other areas of my life, I want to free up this mental energy and feel like I want to have times where I feel like I want to have more times where I feel good about the time that I spent during the day, which will also give me motivation to keep doing those things. So that's part of it. But there's one specific thing that I want more time for, and that is to start riding my horses again. My daughter and I have, we've been riding, but we haven't done a whole lot of that. Actually, I haven't ridden in about 2 years, I think. It's really bad. Like, I feel very sad about that, and I want to get back to the point where I'm riding my horses again and getting my daughter back into riding. She was really into a sport called mounted games, and I really want her to get back into that because it makes us both happy, So that is another reason. I want to free up time, my mental energy, so that I'm freeing up time and being more productive and getting more things done in my work, so that I can have more time for other things. So that's my fourth reason. And really there's a lot of other reasons, but I also just wanted to help you hear why I'm doing it, so that maybe you can identify areas that you need to improvement on, so that you can know why a break from social media is a good idea. So maybe it's not a good idea for you. Maybe you are, your business really relies on it, or maybe that's where you feel connected to people, or, whatever it is. But if it is creating this disconnect in your mental energy and in your productivity, then maybe it's time to take that break. Okay, that's all I have for you today. I really appreciate you listening, and if you could leave a review and a 5-star rating, that would be great too. Don't forget about the workshop sale. It ends at 11:59 p.m. on June 30th. If you're listening to this after that, you can still purchase the workshop. You just won't get it at the discounted price. So use the code podcast at checkout. And the links are all in the show notes, but you can also follow healthyhomesteading.com/workshop. Okay. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, or whenever you're listening to this. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll be back here the next episode.